Kokkinisto beef and tomato fettuccine. Delicious dish. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, here's some ingredients. We have 2 pounds of fettuccine, 4 pints of cherry tomatoes, 1 pound of crimini mushrooms, 2 small yellow onions, 2 cloves of chopped garlic, 2 pounds of ground sirloin or beef, 4 slices of applewood bacon, 1 cup of red wine, 6 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil split, 1 tablespoon of dried thyme, 1 1/4 quarts of marinara, or 36 ounces. We're going to use our San Marzano marinara, Parmesan cheese, and salt and pepper to season. All right, so this looks a little redundant, I know. We're going to cook some fettuccine. This is a time-lapse video of 8 minutes. So we're cooking enough for about 12 people. Okay, so I'm doing this ahead of time. You don't have to do this in this recipe. You can cut it in half and have the same amount of deliciousness on your plate for 6 people. But since we're doing it ahead of time, I wanted to go ahead and get my pasta cooked, drained, and cooled down. So here I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cool this off. I'm going to strain this off in a strainer in my sink, and then I'm going to run some cool water over it. Okay, I learned this trick back when I was working in restaurants and working in Italian restaurants for about 14 years. You know, you go through volume of so many people, and you're cooking over 400 pastas a day, sometimes even upwards of 600 pastas a day, and you just can't keep up. So you literally have to cook this off ahead of time. That's why we're cooking it al dente. Al dente is just before that cook. It gives a nice crispness. So when later we bring this back up to a nice hot temperature to toss our sauce and toss our ingredients in, it's going to be a perfect cooked pasta. Okay, so we're almost done with the straining, and this is real time. It's about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes that we're running cool water over it. Every now and then we're just kind of giving it a little bit of an agitation to stir in the cold water to make sure it's nice and evenly cooled until we see no more steam coming out through the pasta. Once we're finished, we're going to go ahead and we're going to transfer this back over to the pot that we were cooking it in. And it's all the way drained through. We're going to place it back into the pot, and we're going to add about 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil to this 2 pounds of pasta. So that equals out to about 4 tablespoons worth. Reason being, we want this to not stick together. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take this pasta, we're going to mix that oil nice and thoroughly through. And we're going to store it in a container and put it in our fridge for later. So again, you don't have to do this. You can cook this as the meal goes. I just wanted to do this because it's the beginning of a large family meal. So here's some cherry tomatoes. I'm going to go ahead and quarter these up. And here's our small yellow onions. We're going to go ahead and dice those up. Okay, getting everything nice and prepped up and ready to go. Here's our crimini mushrooms. We're going to slice those all the way through. And we're going to go ahead and cook our crimini mushrooms, okay? We're going to cook that in 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, seasoned with black pepper and kosher salt and garlic. Okay, this is a process. It takes about 10-15 minutes, cooking it on a medium heat, and just slowly going through. You can see this caramelization of the mushrooms as we go through, and nice deep brown caramelization on those mushrooms. We're going to take those out, put it on a plate, stick it in the fridge, cool it down, and store them for later. All right, we're going to get to the cooking process soon. Here we go. 2 pounds of ground beef, a tablespoon of dried thyme, and we're going to season that with kosher salt and cracked black pepper. We're going to mix that together in a bowl. We're going to take our diced yellow onions, we're going to dump that on top, and then we're going to go ahead and give that a mix as well. Okay, now that we have that in the bowl nice and mixed up thoroughly, we're going to chop up our bacon, 4 slices of applewood, and 2 nice diced pieces. We're going to go ahead and pour ourselves a cup of red wine and get everything ready to cook. Okay, let's go ahead and cook our bacon down. So as we're cooking our bacon down, I've got it on a medium-high heat. and I'm getting a nice golden brown cook on this bacon. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take it out of the pan, reserving the bacon grease, and I'm going to dry out the bacon on a paper towel. I'm going to go ahead and place my ground beef or sirloin into the pan that I just used with the bacon drippings. I'm going to get this nice and finely chopped up ground beef. And there's a lot of grease going on in here, so once it's cooked all the way through, I'm going to go ahead and strain this. Once I strain it off, I'm going to place it back into the same pan I was using, and we're going to go ahead and add that red wine. Okay, the red wine is going to reduce down in this pan for about 10 to 15 minutes on a medium-high heat. Once it's all the way absorbed, we're going to go ahead and add our mushrooms. We're going to add our bacon. We're going to cook that all the way through until it's nice and hot, and then we're going to go ahead and add our San Marzano marinara, 36 ounces. We're going to mix this thoroughly through, turn it on a medium-low heat, simmer this down for about 15 minutes. Okay, and it's getting a nice, deep, purpley red context to that. Okay, so while that's cooking, we're going to go ahead and heat up our pasta. We've got our pasta water on a medium-high simmer. Going to go ahead and add that in for about a minute or until hot. Strain it all the way, pull it off, and place it back into the pot that we stored it in. Add our diced tomatoes, mix that through thoroughly. Again, you don't have to cook off the pasta ahead of time. I just did because it's a party. And then I'm going to go ahead and plate this up with the pasta and tomatoes, and once that sauce is done, I'm going to go ahead and ladle that over the top, and it is beautiful. Beautiful, guys. Kokkinisto beef and tomato fettuccine. Delicious. Guys, like, share, subscribe. If you don't have an account for YouTube, share me out. Get me out there and let everybody know how delicious this dish is. It's just so easy. And again, it's made for 12, so cut it in half if you want to make it for a smaller family. And hey, look, you got leftovers for tomorrow. How good is that? Guys, enjoy.